Alright, so something that I've been talking to girls about a lot, pretty much every game, is how we don't seem to be able to press as a team. Um, Anytime I kind of like scream at us to press, it's kind of, as I always say, we're only pressing in like ones or twos. Now, when I say press, I'm always saying press because either one of their four defenders has got the ball when they're close to their goal, or the ball is kind of just running down into the corner flag and they're retrieving it. Um, Now, let's say for instance the right back has the ball here. Almost always, we will have kind of one player that's kind of going after the ball. Our striker's kind of honestly like half-assing it in the middle there, not really doing anything. We've got our winger that maybe starts to tuck in. We'll have our two centre mids, maybe a bit higher than that in all honesty. And then we'll have our defence that's kind of like that. Now, this is not a press because they still have that option. They still have that option. And as soon as they've made either one of those passes, they've got time on the ball because this player's not close. This player's not close. I mean, a lot of the time they can always find midfield just because we're not pressing as a team. Um, Cues for pressing as a team is when one, any one of their defenders gets the ball kind of into their last third of the field, like closest to their goal. Two, any one of them takes a bad touch and they have to go and retrieve their ball, or it's going to take some time to get that second touch and get that ball under control. Or three, when the ball is kind of just dribbling slowly towards the kind of centre circle, or the corner flags. Now, in order to do a team press successfully, every single person has got to know what they're doing. And I'm not expecting you girls to just like watch this video and then all of a sudden be masters at the press. But the kind of thing you'd expect from a press is, let's say they're just a little bit further back. Okay, and we've just lost the ball, and their right back has just got it. Now, this winger should be as close to them as possible, but kind of in front of them if possible, so they don't just have that easy option down the line. Our striker has to occupy the closest centre back to the ball. That then cuts off that option. This midfielder here has to be picked up by one of our two centre midfielders, so typically that would be Adi Colis or Kayla. One of you two, whichever side it's on, whoever's closest has got to pick up their closest centre midfielder. Now, if they play, they will probably play more times than not with three midfielders, but even if they don't, it's so easy to adjust and realise which players need to be picked up by who. This kind of player here, if they get that ball in there, this is where this winger has to come up. This winger, first and foremost, does not have to worry about being close to this defender because that pass right there is A, difficult, and B, stupid. So they can kind of occupy this position here because even if they somehow manage to play that ball in there, by the time that ball has gone from A to B, that winger is going to be able to get close to that. Or if they somehow manage to pass into here, by the time again it's gone from A to B, you're going to have recovered and you're going to be challenging them for that ball. So a good position for the winger to take up, in my eyes, is about there because you're half occupying two players, which aren't massive threats, but you can deal with it if one of them manages to get the ball. The other centre midfielder has got to be close on this player. Our number 6, typically Lexi, like I always say to you, your job really is just to sit in front of the back line. So in the high press, you're just going to be sat in front of their striker. Now obviously, this player here has got to occupy their winger, and then we do the cover and the balance, like we've worked on. This player here player here, do not have to be worried about, because that pass is more stupid to attempt than that pass, and also there's very few players that will be able to make that pass. Likewise with that one, you're never going to find a player that's going to be able to ping a ball under pressure 80 yards across the field. So you don't have to worry about these two players here. But you have to do your jobs. You have to basically be set up like this in a high press. That pass is a dangerous pass to make because our striker can then challenge. That pass is difficult to make because they're receiving the ball with their back to goal with somebody on them who can easily come in and take that ball. This pass is cut out because our winger is blocking it, and even if there was somehow to make it there, our left back would be able to challenge. We've got cover. So that's kind of how we'd set up if a right back got the ball. Now, if a left back got the ball, it would be the complete same thing. You're cutting off the line. Our defence has come over into this sort of shape. Our striker is occupying that player. And these two players kind of just switch. Our number 6's job is very similar to what it was before. So that's how we look when we press. If a left back gets the ball, or if it's in that corner, opposite to what it would be if this player got the ball, or if it was in that corner like I just said. I can promise you that there is going to be a couple of teams that we play against this year that will try and play out of the back how I want us to. So let's say they set up to play out of the back like this. They have their two centre midfielders. Alright, so let's say that the opposition team wanted to play out of the back like how I want us to. Our starting positions would be like this. This player is going to occupy here. Sorry. Yeah, that player's going to occupy there. Sorry, this player is going to play up high as if she's a second striker. Lexi can honestly come on. I mean, I imagine from a goal kick they're going to have kind of like two players like this. So centre mid like that. Lexi can honestly push on to one of those players. The wingers do not need to be worried about. The right back or the full back on the opposite side of the ball don't need to be worried about. So our defence would look something like this. So if that ball were to go into there, you would come into here to make sure that that pass could not be played. So really, the only two things that this centre back could do is either dribble into space and risk being dispossessed, or just kick it long, which then we've got to make sure that we are first of the ball and we win the first and second battle. The most important thing of pressing out the back from a goal kick is as soon as that ball goes in there, the most important thing is the striker curves their run to A, put pressure on that ball, but also to cut this centre back out, because if she starts anywhere really and just makes a straight run towards there, that pass could easily come in. This player may be switched off, all of a sudden they've got it there, all of a sudden they've got it there. Switching the field of play is really effective in soccer, and if we can stop that, we're going to stop them from keeping the ball. Now I know I've shown you kind of like if they would set up in a 4-3-3. Most teams we play against honestly are going to set up in a 4-3-3. But even if they were to set up in, let's say, let's reset this here. If they were to set up in a 4-4-2, it would look something like that. Okay. So let's say their their left back got the ball and we were high pressing. Now, same thing happens. You cut off the line. Our striker has to come in. Our winger again is going to sit in between these two. However, the difference this time is our fullback is going to be pressing all the way up here. So we are essentially, what it looks like is we're playing a 3-back. Okay. Now, if they have two strikers, this striker on the weak side of the play does not need to be picked up, but we need to be wary of her. If she kind of strolls out here, then maybe our left back Liz will kind of just come out here. But that's a good setup like that. So we've got winger, striker, winger. Okay, we've got our 2 centre midfielders marking their 2 centre midfielders, and we've got our number 6 occupying there. Okay, it's essentially you have to realise which players are never going to get the ball, and you forget about them. So more times than not, it's going to be the players on the other side of the field that you're just going to forget about, and it's all about being switched on, being aware, and reacting quick enough to pick up the right man. For whatever reason, you know, let's say we weren't focused fully, and that's what we're doing with our back line. If they somehow make that pass in there, they've cut off 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of our players from defending, which now means that they can attack there. They've got that option now. They could have that option. This player's pushing on. If they break the press, we're going to be in trouble if we're playing against a good team, because they're going to have automatically cut out like half of our team from doing anything. So go over this video again. If you have any questions, let me know. We will be working on this week. I know I've said that about the couple of other things that we looked at, but now that I've kind of realised how often I've spoken about this to you girls, this is the thing that's like priority to me right now. So we're going to be working on this next week. We have a couple of sessions that we're going to be able to do it. All right.